On Boxing TV, the smoke is rising from the theater. It's an impressive ring entrance, and it should be a very impressive debut for this young fighter.
And Mike, you know what I love about the Irish fighters, they always have a lot of great local support, even all the way out in America, especially in the Boston area. He had a great welcoming party yesterday at Croke Park Bar with bagpipes and everything, right? They put out all the stops for him, and hopefully he impresses tonight. We'll see.
Looking forward to seeing what O'Donovan brings to the table, and with that, we're going to send it back up to our ring announcer for the official introduction.
Following bout is scheduled for 4 rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black and pink trunks. He weighed in at 136 pounds. Tonight, he fights in his 6th pro bout, hailing from the Bronx. Ladies and gentlemen, John Medina. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white and green trunks. He weighed in at 131.5 pounds. Tonight, he makes his pro debut, hailing from Cork, Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, Conor O'Donovan. The man in charge of the action when the bell rings, Mr. Johnny Callis.
Veteran referee Johnny Callis calling the action for this fight. Always good to see Johnny Callis in the ring. Does a great job. Been a staple in New England boxing for quite a while.
Very good referee.
Now, Conor O'Donovan, if you want to do a little bit of research, I went online and tried to find out what I could about this young man, and I saw so many photos from days of his youth. I mean, he was fighting since he's a child and in the amateur ranks, so it's always interesting to see. You go and contrast the style and the fight and the photos and see how these fighters have grown over the years, and so it's very interesting. I suspect a very deep amateur background, mostly in his home country in Ireland, and there's always something to watch for, Mariano, with fighters like that. You try to look at the fundamentals and what kind of development they bring to the table against somewhat of a very undisciplined, unorthodox fighter in John Medina. It's a very interesting contrast of styles.
As you mentioned, Mike, John Medina is an MMA fighter, so he's going to be very unorthodox out there, and you can see one hand down, kind of squared up, which is maybe not ideal for boxing, much better suited for MMA. And then you see the very orthodox style of the Irishman, right? Kind of looks like Andy Lee out there.
Sure.
They all kind of have a similar stance, very disciplined, and you got to admire their ambition, right? Coming out to the States for his pro debut, away from all of his hometown, right, from his home crowd. So you got to admire these guys.
Yeah, these fights may look or appear to be easier on paper, but these are very interesting challenges because you're facing an unorthodox style and someone that, as you get further along in your career, if you're fortunate enough to get to 10-0, 15-0, 20-0, you will not fight a lot of guys like this at that level, but down goes Medina.
Short right hand.
The patience and the fundamentals of Conor O'Donovan on display right away. So much for that adjustment period against an unorthodox fighter. He's coming right in and going right to work. Scoring a quick knockdown here against Medina.
And Mike, he was teeing off on him before landing that short right hand. He dropped him.
But to the larger point, sometimes this can be a little bit tough and maybe a brief adjustment, a feeling out process to see what a fighter like Medina brings. And there's some body blows, and down goes Medina again. And it does not appear that Medina is going to be along for this fight. Johnny Callis is going to give him an opportunity here, as you see O'Donovan in the corner celebrating, perhaps a bit prematurely, but Medina's back up on his feet for the second time. Still 1 minute to go in this round. This could end quickly here if Medina doesn't mount some kind of defense and some kind of offense. And he goes down for a third time from a right hand, and Johnny Callis waves it off. That is as impressive a pro debut as you can have. Conor O'Donovan dazzles here in Beverly.
Mike, we didn't see much, but what we did see was very impressive. Lots of speed, variation of punches. I liked what I saw, and I hope this kid fights again very soon because, you know, he barely got hit back.
He was aggressive, but not out of control, and that's hard to do sometimes. Sometimes when you're aggressive, you sacrifice some of the fundamentals and the defense that brings you to the table. But look what O'Donovan does here against Medina. Went to work early, went to work often. Change levels, work the body.
Off on him.
Yeah.
And that's
and Rice there just dropped with Medina.
Short right hand.
So a very impressive performance by Conor O'Donovan, and a bright future ahead for this young man from Ireland. And who knows, we may see him again on a CES card very soon. But for now, a very impressive victory in Pro Fight number 1. And with that, we're going to send it back up to the ring announcer, Adam Palazzo, who has all the particulars from this bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, 2 minutes, 4 seconds into round number 1 by TKO, the Irish sensation, Conor O'Donovan.
All right, Beverly, Massachusetts, I'm here with new pro Conor O'Donovan. What a way to join the professional ranks. Now, I saw as soon as you got off the plane, you were greeted by some bagpipes, a really exciting entrance into the bars in South Boston. You come out here today, you hear this loud ovation. What's it like fighting in America, especially right here in Boston in the greater Massachusetts?
Look, it's something I've dreamed of as a child. I've got a child of my own now. I'm bringing him up to do the exact same thing. I'm just out here showing the world what I can do. I've done this all my life. I ain't got no job. I don't do nothing else. All I know is how to use my 2 hands.
Now, I'll tell you what, you dropped your opponent 3 times tonight. This was a really durable opponent. John Medina's been in there with a lot of good fighters. 6 pro fights on his record. Your first pro fight. Took some stones to get in there with someone with 6 pro fights tonight.
Yeah, look, it's nerve-wracking from the start, but someone like me who's done it all their life, the nerves just disappeared the minute you come in between those ropes.
I know it took a lot of people to get you here to Boston today to fight, so I'd like to give you this opportunity to thank them.
Look, I want to thank all my sponsors from back home, everyone that's supporting me back home. The support I got over here is absolutely phenomenal. I could not do any of this without you guys, and I appreciate it. Chucky Arlaw!
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Ireland, your winner by first round knockout, Conor O'Donovan!
So once again, an impressive performance for Conor O'Donovan. 3 knockdowns in the first round knockout in his first pro fight. Celebrating accordingly. Be a big-time party tonight here in Beverly for the Irish contingent. Congratulations to Conor O'Donovan. Stay with us for plenty more on Boxing TV. Michael Parenti, Mariano Agami. We'll be back with our next bout.